Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to LAB today. I am doing a Q&A video today because lots of you have sent in some questions and I feel like I am not going to get a chance to do a video on every single one of them in the near future. So I thought I would combine them all into one Q&A video, which hopefully you will find helpful. So I've got a few different questions from a few different students dotted around the globe. I will start off with the first one, which is from a student in Birmingham who has asked me how to structure a cover letter and what kind of things to put in your cover letter. So if you open an application form and it says you need to put a cover letter with it, you should feel like this is a gift from above. Cover letters are such a good way of getting across your personality, the ways you stand out from the crowd, and showcasing all of your skills that you might not be able to discuss in the application form if the relevant questions aren't there that allow you to do that. So the first thing I would do is open your application form and have a look at the questions, see what information you can get into the application form and what kind of things you're not going to be able to fit into the application form, and you should therefore use the cover letter to get those parts of your application and those parts of your skills and personality across. In terms of structure, it should be a page, I think, no more than a page and no less than a page. Just try and fit it neatly onto a page, even paragraphs. Justify your paragraphs as well on Word, just so it looks pleasing to the eye when you print it off and you look through it. It looks professional and like you know what you're doing. A couple of basic things as well. Try and work out who you are addressing your cover letter to. More than likely it's to the recruiter, so if you can find out who the recruiter is, then make sure you put their name on the cover letter rather than just Dear Sirs. It should tell you really on the application form who you're supposed to address it to, but if you don't know, then I would try and find out the name of the recruiter, just because it shows that you've done a little bit of research and it's a little bit more personal. Also check the address that you're supposed to send your cover letter to. More likely than not, it will be the head office of the firm that you're applying to. So it may not be the office in which you're applying for a training contract. It's probably going to be wherever the recruiter is based. So double check that online, who you're supposed to send it to, because that's a bit of an error if you end up sending it to the wrong address. In terms of how to structure your cover letter, I would split it into 3 sections. So start off with an introduction to who you are, your background, what you're applying for and why you're applying for it. Then I would talk about why law. Why have you chosen a career in law? What's your passion? What's your drive for being a lawyer? And talk about any experience that you've had in the law that has cemented your interest in the law and your passion for becoming a lawyer. I would then talk about why that specific firm. Why have you chosen that firm? Is it because of a specific practice area that you want to practice in, that they share? Is it because you've been to networking events and met people from that firm and you really like them? Is it because you identify with their values? Really look on the website and think about your experience with that firm and think about why specifically you want to apply there over and above any similar firms in that field. And then I would talk about why you would be a good lawyer at that firm. So talk about all the experience you've had, the transferable skills, how that's applicable to that particular firm and how you would shine out and make that firm a better place by working in it. So those are broadly the 3 sections that I would cover if it was me. Again, this is just my own personal preference and my experience of cover letters. I don't speak for any firm in particular or firms in general, but this is just, as a recruiter, what I would look for. Okay, next question is from a student in Dubai, actually, so glad that LAB is spreading all the way across the globe. Thank you very much for sending this question in. This question is from a student who has applied for several years in a row and still hasn't got a training contract, despite meeting all of the criteria, having lots of work experience, having a first-class degree, and lots of other attributing factors that ostensibly make them a great candidate. So I haven't looked at this application form, so I can't comment specifically on it, but this, I would say, comes down to potentially 2 or 3 different things. So one is tailoring. I think it's very difficult when you are applying, particularly to corporate and commercial firms where they're all very similar, to show a real passion for that particular firm. And that comes down to also the number of firms that you're applying to. I always say keep it small. So if you're applying to 15 or 20 or 25 firms, that is probably one of the reasons why you're not getting through, because it's unlikely that each of your application forms is really tailored to that individual firm. So I hammer this point in every one of my videos, but you really have to do your research about that individual firm and talk about why specifically you want to work there and why you're a good fit. So rather than just broadly saying, oh, I want to work in commercial law and you're one of the top firms in commercial law and I've got an interest in commercial litigation or mergers and acquisitions. That's quite a generic reason for wanting to work for that firm. You have to talk about specifically why it is that one. And a lot of good ways of getting that in is to look at the website and look at their values and look at the types of deals they are doing, look at their strategy, look at their market position, think about what their goals are specifically for that firm and what sets them apart from all of the other firms in that particular sector or that particular market position, and really talk about that one specifically. If you get a chance to meet people from the firms, that's a really great way of showing why you want to work there. You've spoken to someone from the firm and you've got on really well with them and you think it's a great fit for you. If you don't have a chance to meet someone from the firms because you're based far away or for whatever reason you haven't been able to get to a law fair or any seminars, then try and engage as much as you can with them on the internet, on social media, on Twitter or any other networking forums that you can do to really try and get some kind of interaction with that firm on a personal level, so you can bring that into your application form as well. Another reason why you might not be getting through is you might not be standing out from the crowd enough. You might have great grades and great work experience, but that is not enough to get a training contract in this day and age. I've talked about the statistics in another one of my videos, and even though you might meet all the criteria, there are many students who meet all of the criteria and they still aren't getting training contracts because there are so many applicants for every one place available. So you really have to stand out from the crowd and show why you're different and why you would make a difference to that firm. It can be difficult to do this, I know that, and I've given tips in some of my other videos for really good ways of standing out from the crowd and how you can show that you're a good candidate. Ways of doing this are showing your life experiences personally, what you have done that no one else has possibly done. What work experience you have, what life experience you have you been travelling? Do you have a really high qualification in some kind of extracurricular activity like music or sport or something like that? Do you have an interest in baking or sewing? Or just something different that will make you stand out from other candidates on the application form. So really try and draw on all of your personal experiences, everything that makes you different. You're all individual, so you can all showcase that in your application forms. It's just a matter of picking out those key facts which make you different and make your application stand out. Another way that you can really try and make yourself stand out is by selling yourself. This is often a reason why some students don't get through. They've got loads of great statistics on their application form and loads of great attributes and skills, but they're just not jumping off the page at you. They're just, the way they're written is just in a list format, or it doesn't really bring to life your application form. So really try and tell a story with your application form where you can. I know it's difficult because you only have limited questions and limited word count within those questions, but where you can, really try and bring your application form to life. Talk about what you've done in your experience, paint a picture of your entire life and what kind of person you are and how passionate you are about working in law and in that particular firm. Okay, next question. This is from a student in York who's asked me, how can I network effectively? Networking is such a key part of getting a training contract. I always talk about this, but it can be the difference between you getting a training contract and not when you meet all of the criteria other than your networking side. So I always say try and go to as many events as you possibly can and meet people from the firms. But if you're not able to do that, then social media is a really great way of doing that, particularly Twitter and LinkedIn. They are so good for making connections and interacting with people that you otherwise might not get a chance to meet in person. If you haven't got a LinkedIn account or a Twitter account, set one up immediately. And in terms of followers and who you want to be following on social media, follow influential people, so follow judges, follow legal reporters, follow me, obviously, and if you go into my followers list, follow all of the legal people that I follow. I follow a lot of non-legal people as well, but I do follow a lot of influential figures in law, and a lot of them are really helpful. A lot of legal news websites as well, which really help you out with your commercial awareness. And when you are tweeting or you're using LinkedIn, make sure you are using it in the most effective way. Try and tweet once a day if you can. Tweet about news articles. Twitter is really good for posting articles, but rather than just posting the article itself, try and say something interesting about the article. Say, for example, you are posting an article about Brexit. Tag it with something like, this is a really interesting article about the potential impact of #Brexit on commercial lawyers, #commercial law. Hashtagging is key. Hashtags basically are a way of making sure that the Twitter sphere finds your tweet. So a lot of people search by hashtag. So you want to be using hashtags that have as many different attachments to them as possible. So hashtag law, for example, that will get you loads of exposure. Hashtag commercial law, hashtag Brexit. Hashtag the key important word in whatever statement you're making that is likely to have the most number of other tweets attached to it, and that will get you the most exposure that you possibly can. Bearing in mind you've got to keep them short. The shorter the better. One sentence with a bit of punch to it is a really good way of just getting your point across and getting your tweet out there. Oh God, I'm really sorry, I'm losing my voice today. I'm full of a cold. Anyway, also try and tag in people as well. So if you're posting a tweet that is linked to a news article which is posted by The Guardian, for example, put at The Guardian in your tweet as well, because that means you'll engage with The Guardian. Don't be offended if they don't retweet you or mention you or anything like that. The point is that you tag them in, because sometimes you will get an interaction, particularly if you tag people in who you know or have a low number of followers and you know are very active on Twitter and trying to build their profile. The chances are they might mention you or reply to your tweet or retweet it even, which is a really great way of getting your name out there. So try and use it to the best that you possibly can. Twitter's great for posting articles and interacting with people. LinkedIn is great for building your network. LinkedIn, just add loads of connections. Find people from the firms, find the recruiters, add them, add trainees at the firms you want to apply to, because they will quite often post relevant articles about what they're doing, which will help you with your application form and help you tailor it. So use social media to the absolute best of your ability. Okay, so I've done 4 questions today because I don't want to go on and on. This is already quite a long video, but I'll be more than happy to do more of these Q&A videos. So please keep sending me your questions and I'll do them every so often if you find them helpful. Thanks very much for tuning in today. Please give me some feedback on this video, what you like, what you don't like, and of course, please subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Thanks very much, guys, and good luck.